Good morning, everybody. Bam. Sammy, United People's TV. How you doing? What day is it? Thursday? It's miserable outside. February. I already mentioned it yesterday. Worst month of the year. Let's go. We'll say that every single day. Let's sit up. Let's roll our sleeves up. Let's get ready for today's show. What we're going to run through. The latest on Cobby's contract. What's been reported. We'll also speak. We already knew. We already knew that Cobby was going to leave if Amorim stayed. How's that news? I don't know. Seems to be the headlines I'm seeing. We'll have a conversation about that if you want to. Don't really think we need to anymore. We'll also speak about Spurs. Training yesterday, Jack Morehouse was there, JJ Gabriel was involved. We'll speak about the Spurs game as well. You can get me your predictions in. I'll do my starting 11 today because the game kicks off at 12:30 on a Saturday. We'll also speak about Premier League Player of the Weeks. We'll speak about just a few more things. I've got loads of tabs up. And you can let me know what you want to talk about throughout the entire show by getting involved in the chat. Fire in your comments. Good morning, anybody watching on TikTok. I know that I don't say hello to you anymore. I promise I haven't forgotten about you. That's why I just said hi. Let's see who's here from the mods and the members. The Six Nations get started today. Are England going to win it this time? I quite like watching international rugby. Hate rugby league. Rugby union's pretty decent though. Right. Let's say hello to everybody. Maddie, good morning to you. Josh, you're there as well. Carl. And we've got Sasha. We've got Rofi, Jace. We've got Liam. Shpee. We've got Asan, John. Couple of Johns. And some non-members. Red Eyes Drago. We've got Ashwin. We've got Debbie. We've got Paul Anderson. We've got Matthew. And we've got Darren. Good morning, all of you. Yeah, haven't they just announced that they're going to be putting... ITV are going to be putting in-game adverts in the Six Nations. Like you're sitting there and all of a sudden like a third of the screen is taken up by a Red Bull advert as you're trying to see a play. I don't think it's long before you see that in football. You kind of see it do you see it sometimes yet? I don't know whether you see that in football just yet, but that is a matter of time. Let's make more ad space. Shall we get into today's show? Yes, just answer my own question. As always, please do fire any questions. One thing I want to say here, you might have noticed, anybody who's got eagle eyes, these shirts have changed. You go, what's going on there? Well, there's no shirts behind me anymore because me, I'm halfway through building the updated version for the studio. So you'll be seeing some changes going on here. It's all going on over there. You can't see it yet because it's a secret. But I'm hoping to have that ready for next week. And it should be an upgrade. And you'll be like, oh, that looks cool. That's just a nice refresh, we're going to call it. Someone down there saying they already do that in Colombian TV. They already do it in US Premier League coverage. Yeah, well, maybe it's just not here. I don't know. I guarantee it comes at some point. Right, let's get on with it. First things first. Well, that ends any conversation about Ruben Neves then. Signed a new deal with Al Hilal. Couldn't have been that desperate. You always have to wonder. It's literally impossible to put a percentage on it, but I wonder what percentage of players who end up signing new contracts at their clubs have used United as some form of leverage. It's kind of like a straight out of the agent's playbook. You want a new deal with your current club. Your current club's not negotiating with you. Well, why don't we just link him to United at some point? Probably will help us in the negotiations. Good. There you go. New deal. Improved terms. Lovely. I don't know. He may have already been on the way to signing a new contract. Either way, done. Now, something I'll say here quickly, because I have only just remembered. So I will pull this up now. If you so wish, ladies and gents, the latest episode of the pod is up on Spotify and Apple. Me, Dan and Nick, we're previewing the Spurs game. Speaking about this week that's just gone past, we're doing it 2 times a week. As I said, we're trying to be as consistent as we possibly can. That's gone out. Our next episode will be recorded Sunday night after the weekend of football. And that'll go out on Monday. If you want to listen to it, you can. If you want to watch it, we'll be putting it up on YouTube tonight. All right? So the videos always go out a day after. Well, day after, morning after. Now, secret midfielder. I just have to laugh. I really have to laugh. It's not like, oh, I've been proven right and now you're just bragging about it. So, no, it was obviously guff. Like the sort of story that was made up by a 4-year-old. I'm a journalist. Let's talk about a secret midfielder. But just people ran with it because there was nothing else to speak about. So you may as well speak about nonsense. You may as well speak about fantasy because it just keeps people lured in. That's kind of part and parcel of the... You know how often I say this. It's about choices. You don't have to cover nonsense. You don't have to cover everything. Don't pretend that you have to. Oh, all I'm doing is reporting on... No, you're covering just pure guff. And you are part of the problem. Let's move on. Now, this is... Mate, Ronaldo's 41. I don't know why I'm surprised at that. I'm not. But I'm a little bit. 41. Bloody hell. Someone down there, you call him Ben Jacobs. I'm not calling Ben Jacobs anything. But when you speak for 7 hours a day about you're going to have to keep coming up with things to keep people interested. So you're just going to have to exaggerate, take it further, add stuff in. Like, it's just, that's what it is. But anyway, Ronaldo's 41. That's the madness. You know, it's also mad. Carrick's 44. Hey, it's quite funny. No, great people are not born in February. No one's ever said that. Not I'm having a go at people born in February. It's done like February. Me and February are at war right now. It's miserable outside. Right. You know what? It's already been a month since. Bloody hell. If you compare how we were feeling on the morning of the 5th of Jan compared to how we're feeling as on the morning of the 5th of Feb in terms of our football club, it is crazy how much can change in a month. And even when you least expect it as well. Because none of us... That was the big shock of Ruben getting... Nobody was shocked that Ruben Amorim got sacked as United manager because of his results, because of what had happened since he joined. But for it to happen that morning was a surprise. But it's mad what's happened since. We've had 2 different head coaches in. We're now 3 for 3. We've won 4 Premier League Player of the Weeks in a row. We're going into this Spurs game full of beans, full of confidence. I'll speak about the game a little bit later. But yeah, it's just... Momentum has to be the single most powerful thing in football, isn't it? Would you classify that as confidence? Does a confidence and momentum the same thing? I think they kind of are. But it's just mad the difference that genuine momentum and genuine confidence can have on your outlook, on players' abilities, on results, just on everything, really. You massively turn from a glass half empty to a glass half full person when you got momentum in your sails. Paul, you're saying, I didn't want Ruben to go at the time, but how can you question the decision? I couldn't question the decision from a results perspective, from what's happened in the first 14 months. I was partly terrified of what would happen next. I'll be completely honest. Darren, you're saying confidence leads to momentum? I suppose they kind of dovetail each other, don't they? If you have more confidence, it's probably because you got more momentum. But you get more momentum when you have more confidence. So they kind of go toe for toe, really. But it's a mad difference to how we're feeling a month ago. Kind of what I wanted to say there. Fingers crossed, in a month's time when we're speaking on the 5th of March, we're equally as confident now, and we've there's only 3 games actually. Is there 3 or 4 games? Hey, mate, we got a slow ass month coming up here. I think there's only 3 games between now and the 5th of March. I might be wrong. It's 3, max 4. 4. Oh, 5. Ha! I'm completely wrong. It's so stupid. Look, we wait. How long between 20? It's 5. Oh, it's only 6 days, I suppose. Monday to Sunday. So 5 games between now and us having a conversation on the 5th of March. Oh, Newcastle away on a Wednesday at 8:15 is a stinky kickoff time. I'm not looking forward to that game. Anyway, let's move on. And I want to speak about this. I really hope you enjoyed that video we did yesterday. We're going to be putting a lot more work into our daily lunchtime videos in terms of how they look, in terms of the intros for them and how they're structured. This is all part of refreshment, if you call it that, of United People's TV. We're not going to be completely ripping up everything that we do. That would be foolish. But every so often, I think it's important to refresh and revive your content and what you're doing. And that's what we're going to be starting. So you might see slightly different approaches to videos, but it's still going to be the same content that you love. So thank you very much, everyone who watched it. Thank you, everyone, for leaving a comment on it. And we're going to be doing more like it. And Bruno deserved that video yesterday. As I said, it's so many rival fans and pundits and a lot of people who were just permanently doubting Bruno Fernandes now don't really have a leg to stand on anymore. They can't argue against him, how good he is and how world-class he really, truly is, and always has been, really. Question I want to ask you. There is only one player in Europe's top 5 leagues who has more assists than Bruno Fernandes so far this season. Who is it? Now, you may have already seen this yesterday. I wouldn't have. Would I have guessed it? I'm not sure I would have. I suppose you would if you think about it hard enough. Who do you think it is? There's only one player who's ahead of him. Someone sent a super chat. Let me read that out from Shane. How you doing, dude? It said, hi, Sam. Just want to say you've built a great community. I really dislike a certain stand channel. Pure bad energy. It's great what we have you. Big up, dude. And thank you to everybody. And Shane, I will also agree with that. I think this community is wonderful. More is going to be coming for the community. I'm going to have soon, as part of the new setup, there's going to be a big digital frame that we can upload and change photos on. And I've got an idea, and I mentioned this yesterday, but how cool would it be if I figure out a way to get stickers for United People's TV, which of course you can do quite easily. Make it as cheap as possible, and then anybody around the world, you can buy a sticker or a few stickers, and then if we use that digital photo frame, like somebody, I think, left a comment on the video yesterday saying, Sam, I'm in Times Square every single day. I can't remember your name. I apologise about that. But you're like, if you get stickers, I'll happily take some photos of the United People's TV logo in Times Square. Imagine that. And we can do it all around the world on the side of Sydney Opera, probably not on the actual side of Sydney Opera House, but photos from New Zealand. We get them on the digital frame in the same way that we've got the map every Friday, which has got 832 points. Imagine we had like a catalogue of photos that you'd sent in with the United People's TV logo all around the world. That'd be really cool. I'd like to do that. And community is everything. I really do mean that. So it's the core of this channel. Right. Anyway, I got waffly there. I was saying, what player do you think has more than him? And quite a lot of you are saying it down there. It's not Harry Kane. Does play for the same team, though. Elise. Man, I would have loved to have signed Elise. But he is the only player who has more assists than Bruno this season. I really do think. I think he's going to break Henry's record. It's kind of like the only personal accolade he can really get this season. I think he'll get into the Premier League. Has Bruno been in the Premier League Player of the Season? I think I asked this on the pod. I don't actually know. Right, let's not be going. Let's not be sticking stickers on these actual landmarks like Stonehenge. I see you down there, Maddie. But you can hold it up and then take a photo of it in the background. That would be a good one. Rich saying, any idea when we can get a copy of the map? The map and getting a copy of it that you can all interact with very much relies on us building either an app or a website where you can all access. And this is something that we've been trying to do in the background, but my word, the costs of these things are far beyond what I thought they were. So we're, I suppose, trying to find partners and people that we can get involved with to try and create this, because we want to make something really unique, really original and ours, but with massive user experience, massive functionality, high end, so it doesn't feel just like a budget website. But that comes with serious costs. So if anybody knows anyone in that sort of sense that can help us build this sort of native personal app, reach out. Sam at United People's TV or community at United People's TV. What's saying down there? Abdul watching from Kuwait. Big up to you, dude. Easy getting 15 assists when you've got a machine like Kane up top. Yeah, the fact that Bruno's been doing this in a very dysfunctional United team is impressive. But yeah, only one player who's got more than him. I mean, you'd back him to get one against Spurs, wouldn't you? I think so. You would. Right, let's move on. Some fun chats we can have today. I feel like I've already done a video on... I know I've already done a video on Mbeumo and Cunha and how much of a difference it is when you've got signings that you make that have an impact in the first season. Don't actually know whether Elise assists in all competitions, by the way. I'm unsure on that one. I'll check that out. But I spoke about their impact. And truth be told, you're looking at 4 from 4. You're looking at hit. Different levels of hits. So you can say which one's got bullseye, which one's just hit the outer on the 25. We had a very successful summer in terms of the signings we did make. Now, I questioned signing Šeško ahead of a midfielder. I still think I have those reservations, but I'm delighted to see the progress of Šeško, comparing to when he first came in. I think he's starting to learn. You're really starting to see from him, just like when you next watch Šeško playing for United, watch how much he's on the shoulder of the last man. Like, he makes those powerful, powerful runs. One sec. My notifications. Sometimes I just forget. Right, let me turn those off. I want to ask you this question, right? What percentage of United's goals in the Premier League do you think Mbeumo, Cunha and Šeško have collectively scored? What percentage? I'll ask you now. I'm going to show you the table because the Athletic's done a table, a little bit of a random table, but it's kind of a fun thing to look at. What would the table look like if you just counted goals that were scored by new signings this season? What do you think? Let me see what we're saying down here. Yeah, mate, Šeško makes absolutely class runs. He really, really does. I'll be honest, I think Højlund used to make some pretty decent runs, largely got ignored. But his link-up play is significant. Šeško is technically a far superior footballer to what Rasmus Højlund ever was. He had like concrete boot touch. It always blew my mind, that. But someone's saying 40%, 50%, 75%, says Brian. It's not quite as high as that. It's this. Right? The alternative Premier League table. United would be second, apparently. Does that work? Have I figured that out right? Or is it just like... Oh, no, I don't think that's actually right. It's just... Have I? Plus each side's total goals from the summer. So this and the proportion of a team's goals is make of a team's total. I think I might be reading this a little bit wrong. Either way, 43%. 19 goals. And we've scored 44 in total. Mate, this puts a big old smile on my face as well. Like, when was the last time that we bloody ever sat here? This is how crap we've been for that long. I'm sitting here buzzing about a +8 goal difference. It's bad, isn't it? It's true, though. I think it was written in this as well. Let me pull this up. Let me get the right one. That was it. That there. United have put up their third best goal tally of the last 8 seasons after 24 league games. And the time when we were our best is at NHS Martial times. Black gloves, COVID, empty stadiums. I think that was Rashford, Martial and Voldemort. Was that season? I think it was. Little dick. 2018-19. Was that Lukaku? Was that Lukaku? Was that Lukaku times? Pogba and Lukaku? Or was that 2017-18? I think that was an HS Martial. Anyway, this is the third best season that we've had in the last 8 years in terms of how many goals we've got after 24 league games. Now, fingers crossed that we can keep kicking forward and that all 3 of these, and Le Mans too, but he's not going to be scoring, but they can all keep kicking on and keep scoring. Yeah, Zlatan and Lukaku was at that time. Damn. It's mad how you can be nostalgic about that, because I wouldn't say it feels like yesterday, but nostalgia, again, I suppose I'm showing my age. I'm starting to get old now. Nostalgia to me is like Scholes, Giggs, Beckham, early first Ronaldo, Tevez. Whereas the reality now is you can look back at Zlatan times and be nostalgic. You can look back at Cavani times and be nostalgic. You can look back at Martial times and be nostalgic. Mad, innit? Anyway, like you can criticize Ineos left, right, and centre, but you can't have a go at them for what they've done with transfers, which is probably why I think that anybody who's not over exaggerating, but who's going absolutely nuts at what's happened in the January transfer window, I'll be like, well, if they've earned some respect in their decisions somewhere in terms of strategy, I think it's transfers. Now, would I completely agree with the strategy that they've done in January? I probably would have liked to have mitigated a risk. I would have probably liked United to somehow move Ugarte on and bring a replacement in. Don't know whether that would have been easy enough. But I questioned the strategy in the summer and, well, when in terms of signing Šeško instead of a midfielder. And so far, the goals, they're turning up. So the strategy was kind of proved correct. I didn't used to skate. I used to be a chav. I made the wrong decision, people. Made plenty of wrong decisions in my life. Choosing that route was probably one of them. I went into secondary. Past the 11 plus. I went into secondary school. I was in like the top 10% in year 7. I promise you I'm not saying this because I'm bragging, because I'm not. But by the end of year 8, I was like in the bottom 5% of the year. My drop-off was spectacular. I was like first season Casemiro and then second season Casemiro in my year 7 and 8. I was a little dick. I'm better now, though. Or was I? Mr. Men, good morning to you. You missed absolutely loads, to be honest. Go back. Telena, you're saying Bruno's 1 assist away from 100 goals and assists, and only 3 players have done it for us. And only 1 player has done it for City and Chelsea. I believe it's Rooney. Is it Rooney and Giggs? They're the only ones who to have 100 goals and 100 assists for the club. I think so. Right. I want to move on. Speak about this. You might find speaking about financials a little bit boring. I'll try and make it as consumable as possible. But this is a really excellent article. I'm going to drop the link. All right. If anybody's got an Athletic subscription, go and have a little read of this. It's quite a long read, actually. From Mark Critchley and from The Athletic, talking about the commercials of United. And I want to speak about them and kind of speak how they will impact transfers and kind of what's going on right now. I thought this was an interesting one because I didn't quite realise this. So, you can't see him there because he's behind me. Whoop, there's Laurent Blanc. Bonjour. That is an absolute schnoz. Just realised that. Sorry, mate. He was back in the director's box for the derby. And turns out that Blanc is now... So if you look at when Ineos first came in, like Dave Brailsford was like the auditor man. Jean-Claude Blanc was he temporarily a CEO? I think so. Don't quite know. Anyway, he was there as representing Ineos, but there is sort of like a leading voice in terms of strategy overall. It turns out that he is now involved again, and I'm not sure whether his involvement ever stopped, but it sounds like he's a little bit more. What did I say? I meant Jean-Claude Blanc. What did I say? I said Blanc, didn't I? Or did I say double Blanc? No idea. Anyway, big schnoz. Sorry, mate. Turns out he's back involved in the business side at United. And of course, Jean-Claude Blanc was massively involved in establishing PSG as a sort of modern behemoth, and Mark Armstrong, actually. So both of those have extensive experience in building PSG as this modern club. And Mark Armstrong was brought in this season as the chief revenue officer? I don't know what bloody title they gave him. But this is where I don't know what United are planning here. Because I find it really curious that we haven't had a training ground shirt sponsor for, I think, what was it, 12 to 18 months? At the end of this season, our sponsorship with DXC, which is the shirt sponsor, or the shirt sleeve sponsor, sorry, is going to be expiring. So come the end of this season, if you're talking about like the three main shirt sponsors for United, number one, it's going to be your front of house. That's Snapdragon. We've already signed that deal. Number two, I suppose you can say kit manufacturers. It's going to be, that's also up there. But we've also got Adidas, and that's done. But then the training ground kit sponsor and the training ground sponsor, because remember, it's not called the Aon Training Complex anymore, not after the 50 mil rebuild. So in terms of where to bring money in that can affect United positively, that can affect transfers, we've got some big deals that are going to be coming up, I imagine, by the summer. I don't really particularly know why we're waiting, and there must be a reason for it. But we're going to have the ability to rename the training ground. It doesn't really change anything, but it gives a brand some power and value in the same way that Aon paid for it. Somebody will pay for renaming Carrington. Number two, the actual shirt sponsor. You can probably dovetail those two. Find one brand willing to take both the shirt sponsor and renaming Carrington. And also a new shirt sleeve sponsor. All these three things coming in. And what I'm going to do, I think we'll probably do this in like a little short video. I think it would suit a short video better. We're going to take a look at how much these deals could be worth to United, how much they're worth to other clubs, and maybe who could be lined up for them. Daz, you're saying we can get more money if we're in Europe from a new sponsor? Maybe that would help. I don't know whether it's to do with anything to do with the accounting year. I know we've got Adidas, that's what I'm saying. That I'm pretty sure that this might be the first season that the Adidas deal has been affected, because remember, there are clauses in the Adidas deal that United get less if they're not in Ineos. Not Ineos. If they're not in the Champions League or anything. Mike, you're talking about an Ineos deal? Given how Ineos's finances seem to be, as a business, they're certainly in some problems. They've got a lot of debt. So I don't know where, and Ineos have been pulling back on basically all of their, not all of their sports investments, but a lot of them. They're trying to sell Nice. They pulled back on the sailing. I don't know what's going on with the Grenadiers, which is the bike team. They pulled out the New Zealand one, which they got sued for. They pulled out the Spurs one, which they got sued for. Yeah. I don't know whether I see Ineos coming in. Anyway, I just wanted to speak about that. There's a bit of a bad number here. Look at that down there. In terms of sponsorships alone, even with those deals on top, Adidas, Qualcomm, Tezos, United's earnings had only grown by £28 million over the past decade. And I've spoken about this quite a lot. See, let's see if The Athletic have actually got a graph which shows that. I don't know whether they do. Everyone loves a good visual, because finances are quite boring. United's commercial revenue. There you go. Mate, look at that. That is, I'll be honest, quite shocking. Look how flat that graph is. It grew a bit last season, but my word, this club, if I was to show you the 10 years prior between 2005 and 16, that curve would not be anywhere near as flat as that. United need new revenue streams to catch up with what other clubs are doing, and also to improve the ones they've got. That's bad. And all of it, of course, is affecting transfers. Mainoo, you're saying this graph shows blatant incompetence. This graph shows a football club that has been stuck in the bloody mud since Fergie left. That's what you're looking at. This whole concept, on the pitch performance doesn't affect our ability off the pitch, said a certain Mr. Ed Woodward. Au contraire, my friend. Not my friend. You twat. That's what I would say. Direct correlation. No news on a TV series conversation yet, but that's good. that's a new modern revenue stream. There's these sorts of things, whether they're going to do that digital season ticket. I think if there was one club that's going to gain from a digital season ticket, Man United could do it. Of course, things change if there's a new stadium, Alex, but I'm still terrified of how the hell you'd finance that. Terrified. Right. Let's move on. I want to speak about some good stuff. I want to say congrats to Casemiro. He's been named the Premier League Player of the Week. And I just want to say congrats to United overall, because that's now 4 consecutive game weeks where we've had the Premier League Player of the Week. Šeško for his performance against Burnley. Bruno for his performance against City. Dorgu for his performance against Arsenal. And now Casemiro for his performance against Fulham. I'd love to know when was the last time United won Premier League Player of the Week 4 times in a row? Oh, has it happened before? I mean, it might have happened before. Don't quite know. You know what I'd love to see? I'm not greedy or anything, but I'd love to see us winning the next 3 as well in February. 1 for Cunha, 1 for Mbumo, and 1 for Ahmed. I'm not greedy, but I want 7 on the spin. Like, who would you get your predictions in? Who do you think is going to win it this week? Mate, it's something that me and the lads realised on the pod yesterday. And I'll speak about this in my preview too. This feels like the first game in a long time. Like, I went into the Fulham game, I had some confidence, but I was a little bit sceptical, I suppose. I was worried that United wouldn't be able to do it. No, maybe not be able to do it, but I was worried about what to expect. I'm going into this game against Spurs, and I'm expecting a United performance. Fully, I'm expecting one. Not a case of arrogant, but I'm going into this game thinking we are a better team. We are in a better place. We have a better pattern right now. We are the team that should be winning this game. Anyway, let me see who's saying down here. A few of you are saying Ahmad. Someone's saying Bruno. Could be Bruno again. A little Cobby one. I mean, Cobby could deserve it too. I just thought we've got to win it for the next 4 in a row so we can get Cobby one too. Anything could happen against Spurs. Yes, thank you. That is exactly how football works, John. How are you all feeling about Spurs then? I will do a proper preview tomorrow. Just had a little conversation here. In terms of training, JJ Gabriel trained with the first team again yesterday. Might be included today. I don't quite know. Remember that JJ Gabriel, he is ineligible. He can't play for the first team this season, but I think that's what would I say? 3rd, maybe more than that, 4th time that JJ Gabriel's been involved in first team training. I think the club, it feels the club is aware that, not that they have to fast track his progress to keep him happy, but I think they realise that youngsters, well, certainly of his quality, are a little bit different and have to be treated a little bit different. And the pathway and development has to feel a bit more obvious, I suppose, to sort of keep them satisfied. A bit of both. Anyway, Jack Morehouse also trained with the first team. Jack Morehouse came back from his loan at Leyton Orient, played 24 times in the first loan. That was cut short. He's now back at the club. I imagine he goes into the under-21s. I suppose you could see him inside the first team environment, but I think he'll probably go back to the under-21s. And you're going for a 5-2. Jeez. Dean, you're saying, I'm going Saturday. Had to pay hospitality at $225 a ticket. It's the only way to get 3 seats together. Ugh. I mean, I hope you have a good time. That price. Bloody hell. You're going to be fuming if you don't see United win paying that. Rich saying, I have an annoying Spurs supporting brother-in-law. That is quite annoying. It could be worse. Let's be totally honest. You could have worse brother-in-laws supporting than Spurs. What are you saying down there? I'll take 2-1. I want 12 in a row to equal Ole's record. Is that what There's no way that Ole won 12 in a row. We already looked at this. Like, the longest Premier League run that we had was Mourinho in like 2017 with like 9 in a row. I swear that was it. Moses saying bogey team since Ten Hag days. Hey, dude, let's be completely real. You want to talk about bogey teams? You can list about 10 in the Prem. Brighton. Grim bogey team. Bournemouth. They had our number. I'm not even going to get into this game. 12 in a row undefeated. There you go. Well, that makes more sense. Right. What else we got here? Let's have a little conversation about some training picks. Actually, let's have a conversation about Cobby, which is one of the titles for today's show. I don't know why this is like a bombshell. What do you mean, like a bombshell moment or like a bombshell conversation? Like, we know this. We knew this. That's why I did the video saying I wanted Cobby to leave if Amrin was to stay, because there was no way that we were going to be able to keep him happy, and I didn't want his relationship with United to be broken. So, of course, he was going. Yeah, Brentford, another little bogey team. Grimsby. Grimsby game didn't happen, and neither did the Europa League final. Those two things were figments of my imagination, and they never happened. But we already knew that Cobby was going to be leaving if Amrin stayed. That was like a widely known conversation. I thought this was quite interesting. This is a bit new. I didn't know this. From Manchester Evening News, that Cobby's contract had performance-related bonuses in it, and they've all been triggered. So we did a video on Cobby's contract. I think he was on about 20 grand a week. It may well be that that's actually higher, down to these performance-related bonuses. But we're now still waiting for the latest progress on the actual new deal. So it looks like his current deal has reached the maximum it possibly can. And I think the club's in a good position. I think we've already spoken. I already know that we've spoken about this before. My prediction is that Cobby doesn't sign anything until we have our new head coach in. Just in terms of security. Kind of would be a little bit silly for him to have waited this long, for him to then sign a contract without a new permanent head coach being in place, because he doesn't actually know who's going to be in charge. So I'd expect this to happen after the World Cup, but I suppose we'll see. Speaking about, actually, no, it's not nothing to do with any contract really. I really hope for De Ligt that he is back in a couple of weeks, that he does get back, because the longer this goes on, the more I'm concerned that it's kind of worse than we all realise, if you know what I mean. I don't mean that in a pessimistic way. What I feel is happening is United is just managing his return as slowly and as safely as they possibly can. And I've already done the video on the whole situation, from him being out for I think it was the West Ham game, and Amram saying that he was going to be back in training, and he wasn't. And he's been missing since. It's a back issue. The club has said that there was a setback for it. Carrick said that. And he's just been working on it. But he's turning up to training, so he's not just like hiding. So he must just be going through rehab. It's just we don't know the severity of the injury. We'll all remember that Rashford played for a good long time on painkilling injections, because I think he suffered a stress fracture in his back that was never fully healed. And this, what you're probably seeing with De Ligt, and probably have seen all season long, is a consequence of changed policies at the football club after what's happened with Tuanzebe. Because remember that he's now suing Manchester United for effectively, I wouldn't call it malpractice. What would you call it? Negligence? Probably call it negligence. He's suing the medical staff for effectively not keeping him out for long enough that his injury could fully heal. Because it never fully healed, it affected everything that happened after. I think what we're seeing now is a safer approach. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit longer, but Martinez, again, might be a very good example of this. We probably could have... Martinez even squared up to Amrim. Remember that? Squared up to Amrim before, I think it was a Palace game, in training. It's like, I'm ready to start, dude. Like, why are you not starting me? And then he ended up starting him and made him captain. I think the club's just being super cautious more than it being more serious. And that's what I'm hoping for anyway. That's what I'm hoping for. One person I bloody hope doesn't get injured this season. Cass. I can't. By the way, at some point between now and the end of the season, you're damn right, we're going to do a little mini doc on Casemiro. I'm going to enjoy doing that. I'm really happy that I got to see him play in a United shirt. That first season, I remember the arguments we used to have about Rodri and Casemiro. This season, more so in the second half of the season, I suppose, but he's getting better. Someone down there saying Hargreaves said something similar about our medical department, but he didn't sue. Dude. Anyone else remember the Hargreaves fitness video? It was a bad beg. I think that was just after he joined City and got released by City. And then he released a video of him like doing like band exercises and then like on the treadmill and stuff like that. Like, I'm fit. Look at my knees. My knees are good. Sign me. Yeah, you shouldn't have joined City there, Hargreaves. Should not. Basil's saying, genuinely mad to think we've only got 14 games left this season. It's bad, isn't it? Well, that's good. Let me make sure that's correct and we'll pull that one up. I mean, he's got to win it. Surely. Let's have a look. I mean, this feels like an absolute given. I'll be completely honest. I don't even mean that with like red tinted specs. I don't know how you could look past him. Surely Carrick's winning that. Just give him the award. There's no point in having anybody else. Dan, I will agree that Hargreaves was quality. We signed him in that double winning season, and he played a really important role. It sucks for him that his injuries completely killed his United career, though. You put him, Anderson, that was another player that I always wanted to not get injured. Phil Jones, 3 players who like severe injuries at the football club. Anyway, I'm going to say congratulations to Carrick right now for winning that award. There's no way it goes to anyone else. So I think you'll probably, let's have a little bet here. I think maybe in a week's time, we're going to see a little double photo of Carrick holding his Premier League Manager of the Month and a certain Bruno Fernandes holding his Player of the Month. What do you reckon? I think so. Who was it that won it? It was Amram and Mbumo. They won it in November? I think it was November. Yeah, Hargreaves was mint that season. I agree with what you're saying down here. Maybe do a little mini doc on Hargreaves. Maybe not in the future. Yeah, Carrick and Bruno, I think they're going to win it back to back. Right. I'm going to wrap that one up for today. Last minute of the show, if you got anything you want to ask me that I haven't spoken about properly, get it in the chat. Content for today. The lunchtime video is going to be the Spurs starting 11. Going to release it today because we're playing at 12:30 on Saturday morning. So when it's an early kickoff on Saturday, I release the starting 11 a day earlier. I'll run through it. All right. And then tonight, it's going to be a double drop. Tonight, we'll have the video version of the podcast, and I hope you'll enjoy that. Thank you very much, everyone, for supporting on these. It's very, very difficult to get a podcast off the ground, but I'm glad that you're starting to warm to Dan and Nick and bringing some new faces into the channel. It's a big, big change. Right. I'll wrap that up for today. When's the next game I'm going to, says Debbie. I think I'd like to go to another game for the end of the season. Not sure when. We'll find out. Hopefully for the end of the season. What do I think about Sander Berg? I think last summer when he was linked as one of those midfielders, I think it would have been an upgrade on Ugarte. Still probably think it would be an upgrade on Ugarte. And I actually think when it comes to United signing midfielders this summer, like Elliot Anderson's going to be your all-purpose and all-rounder midfielder, but I think you're going to need a bit of a more traditional number 6 to add into the squad as well. Just like pure ball winner. Not pure ball winner, but like whose main priority is a ball winner. We'll see. Right. I'll be here tomorrow morning. It's Friday, by the way, so it's going to be quiz time. More giveaways. Maybe we'll give away a shirt. Because I've got about I'll show you the photos of them. I can't do it yet. We've got about 15 shirts down there that I'm going to be giving away, and about 13 posters, including a brand new one from Stan Chow, 2 brand new ones actually from Stan Chow, and a brand new t-shirt from Stan Chow. Presents galore. Take it easy, everyone.